skill error in the line-out. Grant Gilchrist just not managing to get a hold of the George Turner throw. And it's a cheap possession handover to England, because England hadn't competed for it. It was in the transfer of the ball in that maul. And this afternoon, I'd like to think that the errors will come from the pressure from the opposition rather than being the skill errors. We hear what Ben O'Keefe has to say.
I've not seen any leaning there. Stay down. We've got good space.
Trials and clarifications we will perhaps be able to illustrate for you over the course of this afternoon. One of them here is the so-called break foot of the hooker, and you can see how that foot, let's just focus on George Turner on the right there, how at that position his foot is actually ahead of his knee. That is intended to prevent what has come to be known as axial loading, the pressure, the unintended consequence of new laws.
Missing out on this afternoon, I can't help but think a free kick given there, had Owen Farrell been captain, he would have stepped forward and said, this one's going to go 25 metres high, just 5 metres in from the touchline, and let's absolutely empty the opposition catcher. On this occasion, actually, England have opted for the scrum, so we'll see what they do from it, but they've lined up with Mallins right on the right touchline here.
Well, they've got another go here if they want it. There are perhaps one or two question marks in these conditions about Scotland's back three. They know that they will look to neutralise any high balls that come their way, but I'm sure that is a potential area of fragility that the England coaching staff may well have recognised.
Undoubtedly, it's the creation of 50-50s or 60-40s by good kicking. We saw Ben Young's early doors going for the skies, not with the accuracy he would have liked, but it's undoubtedly an area whereby you can get some meterage gain without too much effort.
Well, the arm is out from Ben O'Keefe, so there's a penalty advantage here to Scotland.
Still playing advantage.
He's still playing the advantage, he's not now.
No advantage. Not staying.
He has just dropped one.
The break foot up. Wait.
Meteoric rise in 2021.
And you say well deserved. You know, Eddie Jones has pushed some young players into this squad, but you know, the form of Stewart and Smith in particular has been there for everybody to see.
Marcus Smith, Freddie Stewart, both making their Six Nations debuts, both playing their first Test matches away from Twickenham.
Martin, it was something that was spoken of a little bit coming into this game. You know, obviously Marcus Smith, Finn Russell clash grabbed the headlines, but potentially an area whereby without Owen Farrell, there is that lack of cohesion in that midfield, understanding how to guide them around the place, a lot of responsibility. When you look at the 10 and 15 jerseys, the influence that they have on the game, yes, you've got Ben Youngs nearing closer to becoming England's record cap holder, but there's a lot of experience missing. Laws and Farrell, just a few little moments in this game so far, we've possibly seen those moments count.
Free kick for Scotland. Duan van der Merwe. The tackle there from Tom Curry. There's Russell.
Match is going to be in and around this set piece. It could just be a free kick or a penalty that could be the difference, and there's extra meat coming off the bench there. Some heavy artillery for Scotland, and certainly Gregor Townsend showing his bench hand earliest.
Well, Stuart McAnally must feel he's got two hefty kudus underneath each arm.
Side head early. Yeah, sorry. Second time early.
Does a kudu
VP
rut?
now.
Does a kudu rut? Because I think VP Nell is guilty there of just rutting a little bit too soon.
I think
it's interesting. Ben White on again, obviously was the head injury assessment replacement to pick up his debut cap, and obviously the try in that first half. But both sides starting to ring the changes. Gregor Townsend rolling the dice, looking for the impact. Eddie Jones just looking for fresh leg, the finishers as he calls them. But I struggle to remember the last time Scotland had a scrum set piece inside England's half. It's only the second scrum Scotland have had in this match.
Sam Skinner of Exeter comes on for his Chiefs teammate Johnny Gray. England have got the two number 8 specialists in the back row alongside the captain.
Both teams moving. Stability, then the ball's in, okay?
Marcus Smith, Ellis Genge. You can also see there Lewis Ludlam.
Everyone hit and stay. He's good.
15 minutes to go. And you do think here that if Scotland are to get themselves back into this match, this scrummage in itself will be so telling. They need a lift.
Sit!
It's solid. There's White. The cross kick from Russell. It's gone straight to Van der Merwe, who's stepped, who's got past the second defender.
Got up the last run.
So, Rory, you've been out there 4 times. You've played in these Calcutta Cup matches. What call does Scotland make now?
Well, I think it'll be scrum first, that's for starters, and England will be desperate for their 7 men to do the job. But I think Scotland will have a go initially, but this Scotland field is so wide. You see Duhan van der Merwe is making his way towards that left touchline, potentially a little bit of deception in the midfield. Darcy Graham parked up behind the scrum, which means 2 England defenders have to defend the blind side.
Flower of Scotland ringing around Murrayfield. It's 2 years since Murrayfield played behind closed doors. It was here against France when they beat the French. Almost 2 years ago. And now every Scot cheering on their 8 men here in blue. It's a penalty to Scotland.
Pulling back unstable.
Decisions.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't take the 3 points, but sometimes when you know momentum's behind you, you go for it again. As Luke's Ben White, certainly his lighthouse, understanding the significance of that call to get it right.
Stay high.
Could have been easy. Nick Berry on this near side touchline. The ball came down about 2 metres in front of him, so he was closest to it.
And he was awarding a line out for England.
He was indeed. But sometimes things happen so fast in there, and you miss the ricochet. As it is, Ben Whitehouse has the fortune to watch it back again. Feeds through to Ben O'Keefe. They get the decision right. Scotland breathe again.
Scotland need another solid scrum. Remember, it's 8 against 7. They need the exit as well. It's gone to Tuipulotu, the big carrier in the midfield.
Needs to be careful with that roll, though.
Stay there, stay there.
Return, and of those, Ferguson's had 16 of those tackles. What a moment, what a way to bring a climax. This match to a climax. Jack Nowell probably knows that his next cap isn't going to be forthcoming.
It's the final play of the match. It will be reset. Gregor Townsend, he's out of his...
Far from over yet. England's putting at the scrum. What a moment, what a game we've had, what a contest. So much drama, so much action. And to think that the 81 minutes now comes down to this.
The 51st Test match that Gregor Townsend has been in charge of as Scotland coach. They are just moments away from a 30th victory in that period. We will have another reset. The clock ticks on further into the red numbers.
Both these players this side have gone down.
This is really good refereeing from Ben O'Keefe. He's not willing. Gregor Townsend on his feet. There he is. Steve Tanney, no nails, fingernails left to bite away. They can't do anything now, though. It's all about these 15 players on each side on field. England setting up really interesting setup. Stewart and Ford in behind that scrum, the 2 Leicester Tigers. Young's in possession.
Time off, time off, time off.
We're going to hear from Ben O'Keefe here. We don't mind a 3rd reset when it's the last play, theoretically.
Yeah, I've given you clear messages about where we need to scrum. It's space from both teams, okay? It's height from both teams. Both of you, all of you are at fault, okay? The first team to keep it up will be rewarded, all right? But I'm not guessing. Be accurate. We have another scrum.
The heavens have started opening as well. Martin, the rain is teeming down. It'll make it that ball that little bit wetter as well for this last play.
The Calcutta Cup reaches its crescendo.
Okay, 9. Use it.
We still don't know who's won it. Well, it's a terrible mess.
We got to finish the scrum.
And Ben O'Keefe wants to see it all.
No one's gone forward. Just gone straight around.
Ben O'Keefe, the coolest customer in this stadium at the moment. He knows that he's got 55,000 Scots here, desperate for him to blow the final whistle, and probably about 20,000 England fans praying that they get the opportunity for one more go at this. He's certainly not willing to guess on his decision at scrum. He did say use it, but he wanted a completed scrum. He said both sides were wheeling the scrum. It's a pretty even contest in there. Which side can get the edge?
Crouch! 5, 6.
It comes down to this.
9, use it!
A solid Scottish scrum. George Ford. Good tackle coming from Chris.